It was supposed to be an ordinary morning at New York's JFK Airport, the kind of morning where thousands of travelers rushed through security lines. Announcements echoed through the terminals, and the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the sound of rolling suitcases. But within minutes, that normal day turned into something unforgettable. Inside the control room, a quiet buzz of confusion began to rise. A message had just come through the system. A private jet was requesting immediate landing clearance. Nothing unusual except for one detail: the passenger list. When the manifest appeared on the screen, the room fell silent. The jet belonged to former President Donald J. Trump and former First Lady Melania Trump. No media escort. No Secret Service pre-notification. No scheduled arrival. Just a quiet, unannounced landing. Within moments, airport security was on alert. Senior officers whispered over their radios, unsure of the protocol. Even though Trump was no longer in office, his movements were usually tracked and coordinated. But this time, nothing. As the sleek white jet rolled to a stop near the private terminal, a group of officers lined up, led by Daniel Miller, a 12-year veteran of U.S. Customs. Daniel had dealt with diplomats, celebrities, and high-ranking officials before, but never this. His heart raced as the cabin door opened. Trump stepped out first, confident and composed, followed closely by Melania, her expression calm but curious. The morning sun glinted off the aircraft as they descended the steps, creating a picture-perfect scene, one that felt like it belonged in a movie, not real life. Daniel approached respectfully. "Good morning, sir." "Welcome back." Trump nodded politely. "Morning. Let's make this quick, we've got a tight schedule." Daniel smiled, but when he glanced at his tablet, his stomach dropped. The clearance codes for both passengers were missing. According to the federal database, they weren't cleared for entry. He double-checked, refreshed the system. Same result. Finally, he looked up and said, voice steady but cautious, "Sir, I'm afraid we can't let you through until this is cleared." Trump frowned slightly. "You're telling me? We can't enter our own country." The terminal went silent. Every nearby officer froze. Even the hum of jet engines seemed to fade. Cameras weren't rolling, but the tension felt cinematic, a single moment that could change everything. For a few long moments, the air inside the private arrivals terminal was thick with confusion. The steady rhythm of footsteps and distant chatter from the airport seemed to fade away, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Melania glanced at her husband, posture composed, but her eyes reflecting quiet concern. "Donald," she said softly, her accent calm and deliberate. "Maybe there's a mix-up. It has to be some kind of system error." Trump didn't respond right away. Instead, he looked at the officer's screen, scanning the blinking cursor beside his name. Then, surprisingly, he chuckled. That signature half-smile that always made people wonder if he was joking or deadly serious. "Well," he said finally, "let's see how your system works then." Daniel Miller, the lead customs officer, swallowed hard. His hands hovered over the keyboard as he tried again, typing, refreshing, checking another server. Nothing. The clearance codes simply weren't there. He even called a supervisor, but the response was the same, until confirmation came from Homeland Security. Trump's couldn't be processed. Daniel looked up, his expression apologetic but firm. "Sir, I'm really sorry, but until I get an authorization from Homeland Security, I can't allow entry. Regulations are strict." A few nearby officers shifted nervously. One whispered, "Should we just override it? It's Trump, for crying out loud." Another shook his head, whispering back that could cost him his badge. Everyone waited for an outburst, a raised voice, an angry phone call, something. But instead, Trump did something no one expected. He looked Daniel straight in the eye and said calmly, "You're doing your job, son. Don't apologize for that." Melania nodded gently beside him. "Rules are rules." "We'll wait," she said, her tone soft yet resolute. The entire team froze. No yelling, no demands. Just quiet, patience, and respect. Daniel felt a wave of relief and admiration. In that moment, the tension broke replaced by a strange sense of mutual respect between the officer and the couple in front of him. Within minutes, word began to spread. A traveler waiting nearby discreetly snapped a photo of the Trumps sitting patiently in the VIP lounge, talking quietly. By the time that image hit social media, the internet exploded. The headline read, "Trump and Melania denied entry at JFK, but their reaction surprises everyone." As Daniel hurried to contact his supervisor, his mind raced. Everything about this situation felt surreal. The former President of the United States waiting at his inspection counter because of a computer glitch. He expected shouting, frustration, maybe even a call from someone high up demanding an override. But instead, Trump had remained completely calm. When Daniel finally returned to the VIP lounge to update them, he was stunned by what he saw. Melania was standing near the reception desk, gracefully pouring cups of tea for the staff who looked both nervous and honored. Across the room, Trump was in conversation with another officer, asking about the airport's new security screening system and the technology behind it. Daniel approached. Still trying to process how unexpectedly normal everything felt, Trump turned to him and asked casually, "How long have you been doing this, son?" "Almost 12 years, sir," Daniel replied. "It's a tough job sometimes, but I love serving my country." Trump smiled, nodding approvingly. "That's what makes America strong. People like you who follow the rules, even when it's not easy." Those words hit Daniel harder than he expected. Unknown to anyone there, Daniel had been going through one of the hardest stretches of his life. His father had been battling a serious illness. Medical bills were piling up, and he'd recently been passed over for a promotion he'd worked years to earn. He'd begun to doubt whether integrity and hard work still mattered. Yet here he was, being reminded of those very values by a man who could have easily ignored them as time ticked by. Daniel kept refreshing the system, hoping for a breakthrough. Finally, after nearly 30 anxious minutes, a confirmation message appeared on his screen. Homeland Security had verified that it was a technical glitch in the clearance database. The Trumps were officially cleared to enter the country. Daniel approached them with a relieved smile. "Everything's been sorted, sir. You're cleared to go." Trump stood, shook Daniel's hand firmly, and said, "You handled that perfectly. Most people would have panicked." Daniel smiled back. "Thank you, sir. Just doing my duty." Trump looked him straight in the eye. "Keep doing it and good things will come your way." And somehow, Daniel believed him. Days turned into weeks, and the airport slowly returned to its usual rhythm. Planes landed, passengers hurried through customs, and Daniel Miller went back to his daily routine. The memory of that strange, unforgettable morning with the Trumps faded into the background, almost like a dream. He wasn't sure it really happened. The news coverage had been intense for a few days. Television anchors and online headlines praised Trump and Melania's calm reaction. Some called it a rare moment of humility in politics, while others focused on Daniel, the no-nonsense customs officer who had stood by the book. But Daniel didn't seek fame. He was just grateful that everything had ended smoothly then. One quiet morning, about 2 weeks later, Daniel was going over paperwork in his small office when his supervisor, a stern man named Captain Reynolds, stepped in. There was an odd smile on his face, something Daniel rarely saw. Daniel Reynolds said, holding a phone, "You've got a call. You might want to sit down for this one." Confused, Daniel took the receiver. "Hello? This is Officer Miller." Deep, unmistakable voice answered on the other end. "Daniel Miller. This is Donald Trump." Daniel froze. His eyes widened as he gripped the phone tighter. "Sir, Mr. President, Mr. Trump." Trump laughed lightly. "Relax, son. You sound nervous. I just wanted to thank you again. Melania and I were impressed by your professionalism that day. You did exactly what you were supposed to do, and you did it with class." Daniel could hardly believe it. "Thank you, sir. That means a lot coming from you," Trump continued. "I've already spoken with the head of airport operations and Homeland Security. I told them good officers like you deserve to be recognized. You'll be hearing from them soon." Daniel was speechless. All he could manage was a quiet, "Thank you, sir." "I don't know what to say." A week later, in a small but emotional ceremony, Daniel was called to the front of the terminal. With his fellow officers applauding, he was awarded the Medal of Service for exceptional duty. Under pressure, inside the envelope that came with the medal was a personal letter, signed by Donald Trump himself, thanking Daniel for his integrity and dedication. That single phone call had changed Daniel's life forever. Months passed, and life slowly settled back into its ordinary rhythm for Daniel Miller. Yet something within him had changed. He carried himself with renewed confidence, a quiet sense of pride in knowing that integrity still mattered, that doing the right thing, even under pressure, was never in vain then. One crisp autumn morning, Daniel received an unexpected email. It was an official invitation to a national leadership seminar in Washington, D.C., the keynote speaker, none other than Donald J. Trump. Daniel hesitated at first. He wasn't sure if Trump would even remember him after all. Their encounter had been brief. But curiosity got the better of him, and a few weeks later, he found himself seated in a grand hall filled with executives, officers, and leaders from across the country. When Trump finally took the stage, the audience erupted in applause. He spoke about leadership, resilience, and the importance of integrity in public service. Then, midway through his speech, he paused and looked toward the crowd. "There's someone here today," he said, "who reminded me that true leadership isn't about titles or power, it's about doing what's right, even when no one's watching. His name is Daniel Miller." The audience turned as Daniel rose to his feet, stunned. Trump gestured for him to come up to the stage. As Daniel approached, Trump extended his hand with a proud smile. "You see, Daniel," Trump said, gripping his hand firmly, "life tests us in strange ways. It's not about power, it's about character." Standing beside him, Melania added softly, her tone filled with grace, "Sometimes, respect is the highest form of leadership." The crowd erupted into applause. Some people wiped away tears. Cameras flashed as Daniel stood between the former president and First Lady, a symbol of humility, integrity, and the power of respect. In the weeks that followed, Daniel's story went viral once again. News outlets and motivational pages shared it everywhere. But this time, it wasn't about fame. It was about the message. No matter who you are, doing what's right can change lives, even your own. In an interview later that year, Daniel summed it up perfectly. "That day, I refused entry to a former president. But in return, I learned what true leadership really looks like.